Ladies and gentlemen, how are you guys? I'm Let's Go Pen 17, and I'm going to be starting a new series. As you can see NHL's 1980 NHL Playoffs. Well, I'm going to be going through from 1980 to current day, and as we go on, I'm going to analyze the playoffs right here for you. I'm going to do it in about 10 minutes. Because that's as long as I can go in a YouTube video. So, I'm going to get this done really quickly, but I'm not going to rush through it at the same time. You'll see the layout real quickly. You'll get used to it, but we're going to start with the 1980 NHL playoffs. Here we go. One thing I do want to say is that I am suffering from allergies right now, so kind of bear with me. But here's the NHL playoff bracket of the 1980s. A few teams to mention that will eventually come into relevance in the future. Philadelphia is at number 1. New York is the New York Islanders are number 5, and Edmonton is number 16. The Kings are 12, and the Blues are number 10. These teams will come into play in the future videos and maybe even in this video. So here we go. First playoff is the Philadelphia Flyers and the Edmonton Oilers, as the Philadelphia Flyers win 3-0 in the series. They sweep the Edmonton Oilers, who eventually come on and haunt the Flyers for the rest of the Flyers' career in like the 90s and the 80s. Next up is Buffalo and Vancouver. Buffalo surprisingly wins this series 3-1, and then they end up heating up, and you'll see what happens in the future. Montreal sweeps the Whalers 3-0, and now this series was a hard-fought series by Hartford, but they just couldn't click on goals. Montreal got the hold of them. They got the curse of the Forum, and they won the series 3-0. Boston 3, Pittsburgh 2 is the next series. Boston wins this series, but Pittsburgh fights very, very hard, but they just don't get anything to go in Game 5, and they end up losing the series 3-2 to the Boston Bruins. The New York Islanders beat the Los Angeles Kings 3-1. Now, let me just say something. New York, they were not really a relevant team until like the mid of the 1980 season, according to stats and records. And the New York Islanders eventually came out of nowhere, and they just blew up like the 1998 Detroit Red Wings. They may have won the Stanley Cup and stuff, but the Red Wings were irrelevant until after the Christmas break, and they just started blowing up, and then they won the Stanley Cup. It's kind of like the Islanders, except I'm pretty sure the Islanders didn't win the Stanley Cup in 79. But anyway, they did beat the Kings 3-1, and they will move on. Minnesota 3, Toronto 1. Now, this is a big Game 4 for Minnesota. Minnesota walks in there and shuts everything Toronto does down. And it was just an embarrassment for Toronto, but Minnesota was proud of their work. That I can say for sure. Chicago 3, St. Louis 1. Now, this is always going to be a rivalry. You will see this in the future. The Blues hate the Blackhawks, and the Blues hate the Red Wings. Unfortunately, the Blackhawks come out on top for this one, but the Blues learn very, very quickly that what the Blackhawks do, and they eventually come closer to winning, and eventually they do win. But not this time. The Rangers and the Atlanta Flames, who are now Calgary, this is the first Atlanta failed NHL team, but the Rangers beat them 3-1 in the series, and the Rangers would move on, and the Rangers go decently far, but not too far. You know what I'm saying? But Atlanta was kind of an irrelevant team. They shouldn't have placed where they did, but they did, and they kind of showed that they didn't deserve it. So, yeah. Now, this is the start of the second round. The Flyers and the Rangers. Of course, the Rangers get paired up with the Philadelphia Flyers, who back in the day had some superstars, and they were a tough team to play. Philly is always a tough team to play, no matter what you're doing with them. But even if you're in their barn, it's even tougher. But the Flyers win the series 4-1, and honestly, I think that people were expecting the Rangers to do something, but they just didn't. Buffalo and Chicago. Now, Buffalo swept the Blackhawks, which the Blues were very happy about, And honestly, I'd love to see. I want to see this happen again eventually, but we can't really because they're not in the same division and all that stuff. But Buffalo 4, Chicago nothing, and that was just a whoa. The Buffalo Sabres mean business type of moment. Now, in Game 7 of the Minnesota-Montreal series, Minnesota came out on top 4-3, and when I was doing this research, I realized that the Dallas Stars and the Minnesota. I remembered that the Minnesota Wild are technically and the Dallas Stars share the Minnesota North Stars, but the North Stars are primarily the Dallas Stars. But this is technically the Dallas Stars. Just think about it that way, Stars fans. But anyway, Minnesota beats Montreal 4-3 in Game 7. Probably one of the better Game 7s you can watch if you can get lucky enough to watch it on NHL Network. Please do. New York Islanders 4, Boston 1. Now, New York is just rolling at this time, and they beat the Boston Bruins, who upset the Penguins and all this stuff, and things are just going smoothly, and then things happen, and then, oh my gosh, so that everything just goes to complete shit for Boston. But New York, they do miracle work, and as you will see, but you must remember this team, because they come into play. But then this is what happens in the third round. Philadelphia beats the Minnesota North Stars 4-1 in a series. Now, Philadelphia, as we all know, plays very tough. Minnesota did not know how to really stop that. So, as a result, Minnesota loses 4-1 in a series. What were they supposed to do? Probably play harder, but they didn't. And as a result, Philly wins. New York Islanders beat the Buffalo Sabres, the moving, going fast, and we are going to do this Buffalo Sabres, and they lose to the New York Islanders 4-2. Now, this will send New York to the final against Philly, and we will see what happens in that time. New York Islanders and the Philadelphia Flyers faced off. In 6 games, the New York Islanders pulled off and beat the Broad Street Bully Philadelphia Flyers 4-2. So the New York Islanders have won the Stanley Cup in 1980. So yeah, that's all, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm gonna do 1981 when I get the chance. So probably Sunday. But I'm gonna work on putting this one out right now. I just hope you guys like this new series. Just let me know what's going on. I apologize for my allergies. I want to get them taken care of. But we all know nature always wins. Pretty much, I just wanted to thank you guys for those people who are starting to watch. There will be more content, I promise. I'm starting to be a little bit more active, and I'm going to try and do that. I like putting this together, so I hope you liked it too. But yeah, I just hope you like everything you're seeing from my channel. But like, comment, subscribe, and do everything that's good, and I will see you all on the other side. Peace.